Okay, so today I'm going back over. I didn't do this show. I'm Mike talking about the destroyer. God gave me that information to give to you guys 6 years ago. People were not for that information, okay, because they weren't even believing God. So, how do you give them that information? You let them go down rabbit holes. So, that's what happened. And they went down those rabbit holes, and now they've come to the end of the rabbit hole of the COVID. And they think they got that all in wraps, but they're not even understand that some of those diseases and variants are not COVID. They're something else. So you can keep wrapping your fingers around uh this pandemic all you want, but I am going to focus on Jesus and the destroyer because that's coming next. I'm going to give a little show of it. And this was at my daughter-in-law's house, and she didn't see it, and she called it a reflection and what everybody else does because they want to deny the truth of the some of the things because they don't believe it. But yet you got tons of pictures of in Mexico, in Canada, of showing it's not a reflection, proving it's not a reflection. Okay, so these people aren't gonna see it, man. And I can see it in that one. But anyways, I'm gonna move on to a better one, and then I'm gonna let Mike play and tell you exactly what I've told you. Other civilizations have cried out to the people and writ on the wall. The destroyer came by and desolated them. And the ones that survived writ it on the wall 4 times. And this is the final passing of this destroyer. And it's not a planet, and it's not wormwood, and it's not what everybody else is calling it. It's so frustrating because listen, you're going on and on about the COVID. Now you've come to the end of that, realizing how much is junk and how much is good. You can't keep going on that subject, okay? Because that's the rabbit hole over. You better go down another rabbit hole besides COVID to find God, because that's what they all lead to. You go into COVID and you realize, you find out that's because they're trying to fool you from what's really coming. And it's working for them to the most part. Easy. We played easy street with them. We gave over to the beast just like it said we would. Too late now. You've gone past the part of no return, especially when you give over. We've given over to the beast, and there's no if, ands, or buts about it. And our phones and all that other stuff is part of that giving over to this beast system. Everywhere you go, everybody's on their stupid phones. You should be talking about God. Get off your dang phones with this COVID. Start talking about God, the real cure for it all. There is no cure for COVID, period. So why do you take the shots for something there's no cure of? And say, well, Jesus is going to protect me. Maybe Jesus is not going to protect you because the COVID shot is the prelim to signing Jesus away your soul. That's how close we are. We're at the one point before the true number of the beast is fully implemented. And guess who rises? The Antichrist. So these people, and I'm not talking, I'm not going to talk about them, but I had a guy come, I'm not going to mention their name. I had a guy come over yesterday believing every single thing that COVID has told them on the news. They believed every single thing that the news told them. Okay, so we're going to go on with Mike here explaining about the destroyer while I'm showing pictures of it. Get it, people? Quit focusing on something that isn't going to save you, like COVID. It's not going to save you. Uh, Even into the end, it's not going to save you, whether you take the shot or not. Jesus in control, whether you die or not. So quit worrying. You got these people, oh, my pasture, he got COVID. And now I'm scared. I'm going to get the shot. After you know all, but Jesus will protect me. No, he won't. Because if you know that what they're using isn't going to work and you're taking it because you're scared, you will lose your soul. Them who seek to save their life will lose it. Them who lose their life for Jesus' sake will keep it. That's another reason why I'm not taking the shot. Because I don't seek to save my life in any matter. And I don't care if the shot was to kill me or not. It's my belief in Jesus when it says, come out of her, my people, out of the world, out of the sins, out of the sins of the world, and you will not be a partaker of her plagues. That's so easy to say. Well, I need to take the shot. I need to go back to normal. See, and then they're telling you these other things that aren't even true. Inside them, their real motivations aren't being shown. Okay? They're not going to show you the real motivations, especially to me. But I can discern them coming out of people. So if your mouth opens, I start discerning that. The Lord starts discerning it right away with me, and people don't get it. Yet they sit in front, 5 or 6 people saying, no, that's not how it is. And the Lord told me, gave me discernment of it immediately to show them. He proved it to them that I was right, not me, that he was right, because he's the one that told me to do it. So I'm not there to do it to prove anybody right or wrong. Quit being stupid sheeple. That's all I say. Not you guys, and I'm not pointing this out to all people. I'm talking out to these ones yelling and screaming at us for not taking a vaccination. I've had it happen to me twice. Every day I go out to these places with these people, it happens to me. Division. Huh? That's what it's creating, most of all. So that is the agenda behind that, is to split people up in the end. And that's what it's doing. Look on Facebook. The people that are taking the jobs. Ah. Go back to hell where you came from. I'm not talking about any of us, okay? I'm not talking about God's children. I'm talking about the ones that aren't hearing the voice, the ones that are telling their moms what to do all the time and not believing in anybody but their own narrative. That is another God. I don't believe in myself. It says, lean not into your own understanding, by hearing the word of the Lord by someone that's speaking it. And these people don't see that. They listen to the one that has half the truth, not even, and half the lies. And they avoid the one with the full truth because they can't handle the truth of the destroyer. And the reason was is God didn't have me tell my family about the destroyer because I wanted to work with them. How you doing, brother? I wanted to work with my family and send them down these little trails because they lead to God. And it worked. That was Jesus's plan, not mine. How would I devise a plan like that? Now it's time to get over the rabbit hole and hit the true rabbit hole and find Jesus. There's so much proof physically and spiritually that he is a God. And I'm not talking Trinity God, you Trinity false teaching, read your Bible people. There is no such thing as a Trinity God. They're all different spirits working in the same mindset, heart set, the way he walked, the way he talked, and learning. You are learning to walk in Jesus Christ's footsteps. You are learning to be like him, but you'll never be here like him. Even the Bible says that. So if you think there's a Trinity God, come to my place. Oh, I sent you 30 scriptures proving that that's right. Those don't prove it's right. It doesn't say Trinity God in any of them. And God is very explicit. He's not going to sit there and take you down rabbit holes in the Bible. He's not going to do that. God's not there to cause confusion. And there is no confusion in the house of the Lord, except for the people, the sheeple that are sitting there saying, I could take the shot, Jesus is going to save me, when you know that that's not true. Like, remember, Jesus jumped off, or Satan told Jesus to jump off the mountain. And if that's your God and that's your Lord, he will save you. He said, I do not tempt my Lord. You're tempting your Lord. Someone I know is tempting the Lord and not listening to what anyone else says for advice. They're leaning on to their own understanding. You're going to get in trouble. They're already in trouble, but yet they don't see it because they're in a delusion of their picking. It's just okay, so I'm going to show this and I'm going to go to Mike from around the world here. See, and even some of the ones that I've been teaching in my family that I helped bring to that rabbit hole of the whole COVID thing think that they're the ones doing it all. And you know what? And I don't want the credit. I'm not saying that I did. I'm saying the Lord has shown me this whole thing, and I got like 10 or 5 predictions through the COVID that I predicted was going to happen before anybody that I ever heard. Now, somebody else could have had that prediction, but I didn't hear that. So, and it's not just one person that gets one prediction, it's many. He picks people throughout the world. He's picked me, guys, to teach about Jesus and God. So you guys we can all keep going down these rabbit holes, but the time is running out for rabbit holes to stop. You've gone down the most recent rabbit hole in front of you that led to God. Now, you've got that figured out. At least you think you do. Well, none of us do. It's constantly changing. The variant's constantly changing because they're the plagues of God, the 7 plagues. My dream I had of 7 plagues being cast on the earth. Yeah. And Yellowstone, can I tell you, is one of the smallest volcanoes in the world. There's one under Egypt or under Italy right now that's going to blow Italy right off the face of the earth. Krakatoa. And there's also another one under Italy that is the biggest one in the universe. Okay? And all of those are acting and we can't see them because they're under the ocean. Can you swim to the bottom of the ocean? No, you can't. So I'm going to show some pictures of the destroyer while Mike explains to the people that have deaf ears it's time to move on and out of this stupid COVID thing. I'm not going to be here long to teach you about the destroyer because I see things coming just like was predicted through Jesus. Not me. You ask praise Jesus King. It's my best friend. He's seen things through my eyes because we work as one. We're children of God. We're starting to work as one. Okay? When you become the child of God, now He's changing you to be like God. But you're not God. and you never will be. And you're not Jesus, and you never will be. And vice versa with Jesus and God. They are of one hive mind, like the people on this earth. They're all saying, I believe I can take a shot, and I'm not going to die. Do you know what? God might take you and use you for an example because you're testing him. If you know that COVID shot is wrong and you take it, you have now tested your Lord. Don't be surprised if people lose their lives for that. And that's probably what is happening. COVID mean backwards. Evil spirit. People don't know that. So the evil spirit is causing sickness and taking people. The reaper, angels. Thus for the harvest, wow, the harvest is taking place. And it's happening right now in front of people's eyes. I saw a picture of Mr. MB3 BB33 and he didn't even notice. I went and looked close and there was people going up in the clouds, just like the Bible said. Yes, exactly. You know the girl lady or the girl I'm talking about. Praise Jesus King. She's talking about taking it now, saying Jesus told her to. Her pastor's, oh, my pastor, that's a setup. My pastor's dying from it. He's so sick. And he messaged her, you better take it. You're going to die. So he put the fear of her, that in her, of that COVID shot, and she's going to take it. But, I'm not taking it for this and I'm not taking it for that. Keep making the excuses. You know who I'm talking about. This person, I'm done with her because all she ever does is cause dominion in her family and come behind me and take the word of God and change it to her word. That's all she does behind me, thinking she's doing God a service. And that's what it says in the Bible. You say that you deliver people. That doesn't say that you did deliver people. You say it. That I'm delivering people, and this is the job that God gave me. You're not going to be delivered by anybody in these times, in the end time, but Jesus Christ. And I can tell you that right now. You're not going to be delivered from zero of your demons right now. We are in the time where God's using them on you to burn them out of you. So you're not going to be delivered. So quit it with your false lies. And sorry, it makes me very disturbed because this person is a Christian in my family going around like a ticking time bomb, blowing up at everybody on top of it. So if you try to teach them about God, they know all. I don't need a Bible. I got Jesus. I got the Spirit with me 24/7. No, you don't. I'll tell you right now, the Bible tells you that. No, you don't have the Spirit with you 24/7, or you wouldn't be here because you would be whole. People don't get that. You would be full. You're not full. You're broken. If you're alive, you're broken. These people don't understand the word of God and they claim that they're of God, but they go around and they destroy with their lies and these false doctrines. Why do you think I hate rapture? Why do you think I hate Trinity God? You know, when you say there's a Trinity God, you don't believe in Jesus Christ. Because he didn't say, I'm a Trinity God. Go look for it. And neither did God. Therefore, it's not there. Quit doing replacement theory and quit thinking you know everything. Because you know what? I don't know everything. And when I said I know a lot, you know the scriptures God sent me? He actually helped me to teach you one of them. And he said the other two are for you. I haven't had time to study on them. They're quite, most people, nobody would understand them the first time they read them. And one of them was given to me by the Lord right here on this channel. But I don't believe you yet. Right in front of their eyes, I proved, the Lord helped me prove them wrong for their sakes, not for my sakes. I don't want it. I'm not there to prove people wrong. I'm there to show them the accurate truth. Oh, broccoli doesn't cause heartburn. Broccoli is like the number 2 or 3 thing that causes heartburn, by the way. And I've been told that down the line, but I didn't know where. And then the Lord brought it to me when they said it. And they saw the Lord speaking through me. But do you think they're going to believe it? I've got predictions, like 15 or 20 of them. Do you think they believe it? No. And I'm not good. That's why I don't tell them much about my predictions, because they don't believe me. But yet it's happening right in front of their face. They're being proved wrong. Everything that they go up against me with. And it does say they will not be able to gainsay in this day. That's another reason why the phone is proved to be in the Bible. That's talking about the phone too. Because you can't gainsay against Google. And Google will give you correct stuff about God, but it will give you fake stuff about God. And they will give you verses that are saying there's a rapture and that are saying that there's triune God, and they'll use those against you. So be careful, because she uses everything against you in the Bible, like a sword, a two-edged sword that she's using the edge you're not to use, piercing people with evil, saying it is good. Yet she's running around with attitude, losing it on people. You are stricken with madness when you're doing that. Now, every once in a while, everybody blows up. It's part of life. But this person's going around doing it weekly over the stupidest things, and then putting the blame on them. And, oh, you did this and you attacked me. No, you were screaming at me. It's just ridiculous. Whoa. And they start listening to me, and they don't like the full truth. So they go with itchy ears and listen to these pastors in these things. Oh, you take my shot, my pastor's gonna die. You're scared. That's why you're taking the shot. Don't go around telling people fibs and lies that you're not scared and these other motives behind it, and start stabbing people with the Bible when all they were there is to give you direction. I would not take it. The Lord has told me not, and many reasons why. And this person came to their own understanding, and I believe they're the one that's buffeting me, Satan, and they don't even know it, and they're stricken with madness, and they're going to take this shot. And oh God, I please beg of you not to take their life. Okay, I don't want the lives taken of people. That's not the way to solve things. But this person needs to be made to the family. If they take the shot, they need to be made an example what happens by God. And if that's God's will, I believe in that, right? That they will be made an example of. Because there's someone in my that needs to be made example of. I'm always the one. And there's a Christian that needs to be made example of. This is the Christian you don't follow. I will not listen to one word about God with her anymore. And sometimes we talk, but as soon as she gets on one of those subjects that we fight about, I'm gone. Because she thinks she is the shepherd. No, you're not. Are you female? No, you don't deserve shepherdship. That goes to a male. Go and look in the Bible. That's what it says. You never hear one a shepherdess. There is no such thing. I can see through this person's fakeness, even in the pictures of her. I can see through it. That's what's crazy. I can see the lie that's come to the cover and is all hidden. She wants to look good for everybody else. I really don't care. I really don't care what people think about me. See, a lot of people are, well, I don't want to do this because I think what people care for me. That's not what Jesus would do. Jesus didn't care what anybody thought about him. He taught what he taught because it was his business, his father's business, to teach what he taught. Okay, so I'm going to be going, like I say, with Mike. I just wanted to make a little speech here because it's silly. Uh, There's one person with right doctrine. They're all start. There's a lot of people. There's some people that have Christ, but I can tell their doctrine's totally fake. And I mentioned to someone, Gabrielle named Jesus. God told Gabriel to give her the name of Jesus for Christ. And she came and said Gabriel wasn't here even at that time. So how was that possible? They come up with their own theories and they replace it. Trouble. Be careful. Gabriel did name him Jesus Christ. He is not Yahushua to us. To the Hebrew, he's Yahushua. Okay, but to the Gentiles, he's Jesus, and that was said in the Bible. So you said the King James Version Bible. This lady came up and right away, and I was like, "Wow, you're a Christian?" Kind of funny to me, sitting there screaming your head off in the first few seconds when I started talking to you. And it's replacement theory. That's Jesus Christ, and that's how I'm going from now on. Not going Yahushua. It says, points out in the Bible, that is his real name, Jesus Christ. They didn't know how to say J. It looks like, anyways. Jesus, almost like. Even in this lady's. No, I'm not going there. Sorry, guys. I'm not going to go there. I'm not involving anybody that doesn't need to be when they're young and don't understand. He showed me the darkness that's still in this family. It has to do with pride. So I'm trying to help the person and saying, and yet they're calling everybody else's proud. I have no pride, by the way. That's one of the things that the Lord's helped me overcome, because I can't go on teaching about pride with pride in me. You can't do that. You're not going to get a message. And if you have pride in you, you're not going to be given the message by the Holy Spirit. So, first of all, work on your pride. That's number one, stopping you. God resists the proud. So, what does that mean? Well, God's going to give you every answer with your pride. No, that doesn't mean that. That means you're not going to get anything from God with pride in your way. This girl has nothing but pride. And she's snappy and bossy still. I'm not seeing the changes anymore. I'm just not seeing alcohol in that version. You put alcohol to an asshole, you get a murderer. Okay? You could make the worst person out of alcohol. This one is. And I see that same person now there. She's just covered up with pride, and I know everything and you know nothing type of attitude. I'm just getting to my pictures and then I'm going to start that. But I'm like talking about this stuff as well. Did I miss them? Oh boy, I really hope my wife didn't erase them. Oh, oh, ho, ho. She wants to have me upset. That's the best way to do it. Wow. And she's done it to me. Okay. Before. There it is. Oh, that's a reflection of the sun. Two reflections of the sun? No, it's not. If it was a reflection of the sun, it'd be the same object. This is proof of that. See the yellow object there? And the one beside it, the one closest to the edge. Okay. So this object's reflection is this. Because it turns red, you can even see when it's over top of it. It's not a reflection of the sun. That yellow one has wings, by the way. So the Egyptians talked about it and they drew it on the wall with wings as well. So, I got so much proof of the destroyer. It's not even funny. You guys better start doing your research about that instead of COVID. You're not getting anywhere anymore. You've made it to the end of that path. It's time to hit the true path. And what the real reasons why there's even COVID here. Because they're going to do all these distractions to keep your eyes off of the sky. And that's what I am not doing. I could go out if there wasn't so much clouds today and take pictures of it every day. It's there every day, dispersing the evil on the earth slowly, which will cause devastation, according to my dream, and according to the Bible, and according to God, and according to Egypt's of gods of the Egypts. If you watch that movie, they're pulling this at the very end. God's pulling the destroyer with him. He takes it with him where he goes. He uses it. It's his tool. Okay. So come on, guys. It's time to get out of the old and into the new. See, they're not going to listen. They're going to be stuck in this rabbit hole until they go, oh, wow, maybe Rod was right. So I'm asking God to speed that process up for them because the time's running out. They even went so far as to ask me, is how many years do you think is left? And I said 2 if you're lucky, 2 or 3 if you're lucky. But from what they're saying is this thing is speeding up as it gets closer. No, the destroyer's got its own. God moves it around. They cannot keep track of it, and they cannot rocket it. They cannot interfere with it. It's not like any other star. Okay. And there it is in our skies, releasing. And there it has wings. See the hazy wings right to the left on the object? That's in the Bible. That's in many civilizations that seen it and died. And some of them were left by saying there was utter destruction here from this thing when it passed by. And this is the worst time? So I think your little tiny COVID thing, it takes zero effect to what this thing's going to do. Okay? This thing's going to kill billions. Probably 4 or 5 billion people. Or 4. It's going to kill 3/4 of the earth, but yeah, and they don't even know that these people don't even know that they're falling, and that's the sad thing. They think they're the ones raising up to the top, and you're falling. That's what they will point out so that everybody listens to them and they can think that they've saved them and you haven't. You see, that's pride. Anyways, I don't care. I haven't saved anybody. The Lord does that for me. I'm just involved. That's all. He's given me blessings by letting me help. You know, and the whole thing was, well, this person said, well, you guys don't want me there in any of these functions. And I'm thinking, yeah, because all you are is a distraction to the real God. But no, I don't want that. You got to be there because you're family. So it's not like I don't want you there. It's just that I'm annoyed when you're there, but I ask God to take it away, and He does. And the things that the mean things, this person can sound so nice, but some of the mean things that this person says is, wow, Christians don't say that. Mom, you're full of pride. Not mom. I'm not talking about my mom. My mom is absolutely one of the closest people to Christ that I know that I've taught. Way more than the person that I'm talking about. She's like got no clue what God even is if you're not reading your Bible day and night, like the Bible says. You are not listening to the Bible. Okay, so let's go on with this. The proof. Okay, I got to rewind this. He's been doing this. He's screaming out to people what truly is. Where was I?
That's why Russia so redirect everybody to the scripture again. John takes the little book of Revelation, so had no holiday. Israel was trampled underfoot while everybody else was talking about the formation of things, and as far as the beast went. I was very concerned about this country. Because no one stopped the beast from going into Israel with that army. Remember in the book of Daniel,
They're in.
All those who had indignation against the holy covenant he corrupted by flatteries. And then it says they collectively went into Israel, specifically into Jerusalem, trampled Jerusalem underfoot 40 and 2 months. So it was with a coalition that Jerusalem is going to be overtaken. And we all know by reading certain things in the Bible that it's not going to look good. But my problem was nobody stopped them. Nobody stopped them. How could they do this for 3.5 years when the USA is in power? So something happened to us, right? Now, back then, I said the U.S. had its hands tied. You guys go back in the archives about 6-7 years and see for yourselves. The U.S. had its hands tied. I said likely internally because of our division. Now, at that time, it was very tough to see that we would be divided so much. We haven't seen anything yet. There are a couple of political moves that will take place. It's going to further divide this country in a way that should be impossible. Unfortunately, in today's world, it is not, because people can no longer, it's almost like they have lost their ability to really see the outcome of their doings, right? But if you're a believer in Christ, the Lord often will gift his children with a way to see things where you can see the outcome of things simply by the speech of an individual. You can see where it goes. The Lord will often give you that. But we are incredibly divided, and that divide is about to really deepen. Right? It's about to really deepen. Now, of course, obviously, hopefully, no Christian is a part of that divide, but the Bible tells us that many of the faithful, right, will have to be pulled away from that divide.
You see the red?
The Lord's going to pull them away from that divide. If he didn't pull them away from that divide, they would have been consumed by rhetoric.
Not all of them are reflections.
These are scriptures that
it doesn't give a reflection, and a reflection.
We read them here because I believe in covering everything. But this division thing is just going too far. So you know, you have states that are set up right now that are ready to part from governmental standards, right? Federal governmental standards. That being the case, you know, we're going to be so tied or so consumed with debate within ourselves, we're not going to be able to afford the personnel or have the coordinative abilities to stop what's happening in Israel. Now, remember, it happens for 3.5 years in Israel. So for 3.5 years, it's almost like we have our hands tied here. You guys know and I know that with the people over here, if something happened to Israel, right, that would bring an outcry from the U.S. That would be totally outrageous unless the people were duped so bad they no longer cared. Unless people were so engaged.
That's what they are now. Even the Christians, they're so duped. They don't even have the right story in their head because they're not studying enough of the Bible. You're not going to grow if you're not reading the Bible. You're not. You're going to stay in the same pace. And they use excuses. Well, I don't need the Bible anymore. Yes, you do. If you don't read the Bible, you're not going to make it to heaven. You need to read it over and over, by the way, until God comes back. He finds you not reading his book when you come back and using excuses. Well, I don't need it. I have the Holy Spirit in me 24/7. No, you don't. You need me to go back on that teaching again? You don't. Don't claim the Holy Spirit is fully in you 24/7 when you're yelling at people. That's impossible. Where your anger and your pride is, God is resisting. He's not there in you. The Spirit is not speaking through you. And when you're causing division in family like this person did with me, come outside and talk. And started talking about someone in their own family, their mother, dividing against their mom. But yet, I'm for you, Mom. Come do this, come do this, come to my fake churches. You're not helping your mom at all. You're diverting her to your fake teachings, and she's going to see them, and she probably already has. With your attitude like that, she ain't going to follow you. This one's controlling. Oh man, the controlling things she says are controlling in pride. I see it everywhere. And I pray for her, by the way. I don't hate her. I can't talk about the Word of God with her because she'll scream. She'll get mad and she'll start pulling up scriptures and stabbing me with it, say that's not how it is, when she doesn't even understand the scriptures because she doesn't read it day and night like you're supposed to, like the Bible commands you to. That's a commandment. And if you're not reading it day and night, you're not going to prosper and you will wither. Okay? It says by meditating night and day on the Bible, you will never wither and you will prosper. So if you're not doing that, you're going to wither. That's what it's telling you. You're not going to make it. You're going to weaken. And I see it even in me. But the thing is I jump aboard to the truth. This person keeps jumping aboard to more lies and feeding them to the family that she thinks she's saving. She's coming in behind me and trying to undo everything I'm doing, just like Satan does. The messenger to buffet you. He's there to take away the truth. And it's in a female, by the way. And man, all I can ever see out of this person is evil, but yet they say they do good works. No, you don't. I'm sorry. You're still the same person that I remembered, and it's coming out now. That's how I know that. It's been subsided for a few years, and she's been keeping her quiet. But now it's coming to life. It's the time to get it purged out. So maybe God's going to purge it out of her right now. But there's going to be a price to pay for all this false teaching and all this lies that you're living and how you're treating people still. Jesus doesn't treat people like that, okay? But yet, all in front of people, it's a phony facade that I'm of God. And you know what? It's helping bring these people to God. But now that these people came to this certain point, it's time for this girl to just move on and teach other people that. And see, God put me there to minister them, not her. You're not a minister. Minister. Doesn't say minister miss or minister s. No such thing, man. You find one in the Bible. You can teach the youngs and the fool the women. And she still holds that against me and believes that that's not true. Now, some people just don't know the word of the Lord. That's why you're to keep studying it. If you're not studying it, you're not going to learn it. Okay? No, you need the Bible. Okay, so he's going to get into it soon. Okay.
Good evening, everybody out there. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Well, I'm back. It's good to be back. Okay, dokie, we are back. Somebody do me a favor. Combat personnel in and out of the Syrian civil war. Everybody knows about many years ago. To Justice COT folks, and it looks like it's unfolding. You guys remember when I said if Israel is trampled underfoot while everybody else was taught this very day. But you know what? That's the bitterness of prophecy. And we're going to talk about that right when I come back from this break. But you guys do see the powers of China. That was just a little smidget of some tactical information. Some of the suspicions that you had concerning the world, that they were potentially real. You may not tell anybody, but most of you who were stuck on sci-fi, stuck on some of these other shows that talk and books that talked about UFOs and things like that, you were drawn to those things.
Okay, I'm going back because I don't know. I hate when I do that.
Dookie, we are back. Somebody do me a favor.
Okay, so
some have opera. Somebody Somebody out there has an Opera browser. I want you to pull up fake good. But my problem was nobody stopped them.
Okay.
Nobody stopped them. How could they do this for 3.5 years when the USA is in power? So something happened to us, right? Now, back then, I said the U.S. had its hands tied. You guys go back in the archives about 6-7 years and see for yourselves. The U.S. had its hands tied. I said likely internally because of our division. Now, at that time, it was very tough to see that we would be divided so much. You haven't seen anything yet. There are a couple of political moves that will take place. It's going to further divide this country in a way.
See, and people are believing, oh, we're gathering our nations. No, they're not. This COVID thing is divide. So I almost believe the people that take the shot are being divided with the goats and the tares. So that's why I'm worried about this. I gotta take this shot. My pastor, you're gonna believe your freaking pastor? He's been lying to you the whole time. Why would you believe him now with the COVID? See, the churches are going to have to be fully vaccinated, and they know that. So they've already replaced all the real teachers a long time ago, and these false teachers have been getting supported by the government. These false churches have been actually by the Vatican. Okay, so they all got together and they found a way to make it through the churches to do everything that they're doing through the normal world through the churches. And what better way and to put fake pastors in this time and to teach the fake word, keep people misdirected, and also give them messages saying, oh, the pastor giving people message never usually ever happens, and that happened with someone I know, and she's like all scared and saying, well, I'm going to take it, and I'm going to take it for this sakes. No, you're not. I can see right through your sakes. But when you said that to me and your pastor took the shot, I could see right through your lies. You can't lie to me. For some reason, the Lord gives me the discernment. Well, I know for what reason, so that I can help them out. And if you try to help these people and they reject you, you got to keep poking a little bit here and a little bit there, right? So that's what I kind of do. But I'm not giving up on this girl. Okay, she's a family member, but I cannot teach her. She is unteachable, what she told me I was, which is actually insane. See, people that have scapegoats, called a scapegoat. When you're pointing other people's problems out, you have them. Okay? That's just it. Straight out. And that's what she's doing over and over and over and over. And yet people are thinking she's turned into a better person. She looks it and sounds it sometimes, but you could catch when she's not. She's the same person. She has not grown enough in her Bible to say that she knows as much as she has. Okay. Well, and I'm hearing from God. That's what they say. Jesus said you did this. You say you do that. That doesn't mean you did. Okay, let's move on.
Okay, everybody, since.
I don't know
Okay,
why
Dookie, we are back. Good evening.
but it's really
Good evening, everybody out there. Good evening, good evening, good. Okay, Dookie, we are back. Somebody do me a favor because I don't have opera. Somebody out there has an opera and will gift his children with a way to see things where you can see the outcome of things simply by the speech of an individual. You can see where it goes. The Lord will offer.
You see that? The Lord will give you these things so you can help them, not to condemn them. Don't get me wrong. I'm not condemning this person. They're really trying. And I know that. I see that they're trying. But I'm trying to help because I see that they're failing. So that's why the Lord gives that to you. You're not to go to them and say, hey, you're failing. You need to learn to listen to this way. Now, a real Christian will listen to correction. A fake Christian will put lies over top of it, throw scripture at you, and call you a liar. And that's a fake Christian. and I know the way, and this is the way, and this is this, and this is that. And it's just like, wow, I can see right through you when you first opened your mouth. Why even bother speaking anymore?
Then I'll give you that. But we are incredibly divided, and that divide is about to really deepen. Right? It's about to really deepen. Now, of course, obviously, hopefully, no Christian is a part of that divide, but the Bible tells us that many of the faithful, right, will have to be pulled away from that divide.
Huh. See, I'm being pulled away from even these ones that say they're Christian, which is crazy. God's telling me to stay away from this person. There's nothing but false teaching in them. All the teaching is in vain, yet they said all mine is in vain. Crazy. You see that? They'll point at you what is wrong with them. So that's a call to you to try to go to work to try to help them change their fake beliefs. And if they don't believe it, they may not be of God because they're not hearing the word of the Lord come out of you. That's where it comes from. Where else do you think it's come from? Comes from the Bible, comes from the people, comes from angels.
Abilities to stop what's happening in Israel. Now remember, it happens for 3.5 years in Israel. So for 3.5 years, it's almost like we have our hands tied. Here, you guys know and I know that with the people over here, if something happened to Israel, right, that would bring an outcry from the U.S. That would be totally outrageous, unless the people were duped so bad they no longer cared, unless people were so engaged with this political nonsense that they can no longer see. Because in the King James Version of the Bible,
let me stop that. Okay? So, they're all into this political COVID nonsense. It's political. It's a political thing because the governments are doing it, are mandating the companies, and the companies are not hiring unless you have it. That there just turns me right away from it. I'm trying not to talk about it, right? But sometimes it gets thrown in there.
God said Israel had no ally. No ally. That bothers me to this very day. But you know what? That's the bitterness of prophecy. And we're going to talk about that right when I come back from this break. But you guys do see the powers of China. And that was just a little smidget of some tactical information that is real about China. It's not fake. This is real about China. And it's only, that's only the tip of the iceberg, as they would say. There's so many more facts about China, disturbing facts.
Oh. I hate this phone when it does that. So, and it talks, even China has a dragon. So when it says who will be able to make war with the dragon, that's spiritual and physical. That's the Chinese. They have technology that they stole and superseded. They made it so much better and powerful and faster and stronger. They are the leading nations of weapons. And they got 3 with them that are going to go against. So, yeah, and I got to go. I hate when I do this.
Okay, Dookie, we are back. Somebody do me a favor, but it causes a reaction, and you'll spit it out if it's no good. In this case, sweet as honey in his mouth. What he ate, the book. Why was the book so sweet? Rolled together. Not rolled apart, but rolled together. And when you have the... But as we went on through the years, right, I've seen people in COT in 2014, 13, and 14, earthquake would happen. They'd be like, oh, yes, better get ready. I mean, they were happy when an earthquake hit. They were happy when a volcano erupted. They were happy to hear news about some impending space rock that was going to pound us to pieces. They were happy, right? Like, yes, I get to go home. It's coming. But then as the days went on, as the years went on, and nothing took place. And people kind of sell themselves back on Christ again to get built back up again the right way, which is by the foundation of Christ, not by movies, but by the words of the living God as they began to build themselves back up in truth. When things begin to happen, many of you said, "Oh no, not here." And when it cost lives this time, a bitterness came with it. A bitterness always comes with it. The reality that these things are really going to happen, and I've got a small taste of it. And although I love the word, I'm not, I'm not in a rush for that volcano in my backyard to go off and burn me to pieces, right? Which brings up this controversy of people getting out, the Lord pulling them out first before anything happens. But we've gone through hurricane after hurricane, seasons of volcanic eruption after volcanic eruption, tsunamis that killed many, incidences, right? It becomes very bitter when you begin to think about all these things. And to know that worse things are coming, it's no longer sweet. It's bitter when you swallow it. And it becomes a part of you, and you start to have comprehension of it. That's when it changes to bitterness. It's bitter not because your life is in danger. It's bitter because people are about to face a very real situation. And many of them are not listening to your smallest cries for peace right now. Many have just totally turned away, and they're saying, "No, you can't tell me anything. I'm going to have it my way or no way at all." And you're also coming to the realization that some of the people you love the most may not make it. And that's a very hard thing to swallow. Yes. That's part of the bitterness in there. When you start to look.
Okay, so the date of this object, I had to pause it. You could see the reflection highlights the object. Thus, impossible to be a reflection of the sun. And you can see the red hue goes away. And when it gets close to the object, it goes red, not the sun. When that reflection of that yellow object with wings that is explained around many times, look at it, it has wings. Just like the Egyptians saw it. Not exactly. They couldn't depict it totally. So they drew wings because that's what it looked like. That's what it looks like right there. The destroyer proof. And this is on September 2020. September 2020. There's the object. There it is. September 2020. And the showing of the reflection and how it works. You have to know there's another object over here. You can't see it. It's the white one. People don't know it if they don't have my picture. Which is a reflection and which isn't. But it doesn't move, just like the sun doesn't move. Therefore, it's not a reflection. Reflections move when you move your camera, but the object won't. Well, that one doesn't. And the reflection even goes red when it goes around that object, proving that is the object it's reflecting from. And some of the colors, actually the color of the yellow one is red, but that's the color of it that's reflecting, which is weird. When you see it with your eyes, it's not going to be yellow. It's going to be pure red, okay? Picture, I take a picture and a video. And I just showed you the video. What does the picture show? It has wings. I can see them on my computer screen, so don't tell me you can't. I'm not easy to lie to. As a matter of fact, you can't lie to me anymore. I can't be lied to. I can pick lies out instantly. Sin is a sin in a way if you haven't repented for it. Okay, so now I got to do this again because it's driving me mad. What was it? 36.
Right? It becomes very bitter when you begin to think about all these things. And to know that worse things are coming, it's no longer sweet. It's bitter when you swallow it. And it becomes a part of you, and you start to have comprehension of it. That's when it...
Okay, so I gotta go back again, my stupid phone. When you're swallowing it means you're reading. Eating means eat my flesh, means to read the Bible. That's a commandment day and night. Huh. You gotta put scriptures, the proper scriptures together, not ones that aren't proper, not ones that aren't saying the same words or sounding the same. When they sound the same and they basically mean the same, but they're saying it with different words, you will pick that up. That's hearing the word of the Lord. People aren't hearing that part. They're not hearing the Lord. If you can take a scripture from in the Old Testament and the New Testament and you hear the same words, voila, you are hearing the words. And I can do it with almost everything I hear. These people can't. They replace it with other scriptures that make them feel good. You can do that all day in the Bible. That's fake teaching. That's a false teacher.
Okie dokie, really outrageous. Unless the people were duped. Not good. And the heavens departing as a scroll when it's rolled together, when you have the understanding of what that can actually look like. And then you realize, wait a minute, I've heard that before. Where did I hear that before? Now that they're sharing, now that the internet is out. And the ancient writings, recording from people who have nothing to do with the Bible, describing what they saw and what they survived. And they said it looked like the heavens departed like a scroll when it's rolled together. First, you have two contradictory words. Heaven departing as a scroll when it's rolled together. Not rolled apart, but rolled together. And when you have these...
I believe that means all coming in together and ripping the veil.
Different writings from different civilizations that said the exact same thing, the exact same description. When it came, it looked like the whole sky rolled up together. Okay, and then you read Revelation, you're saying to yourself, wait a minute, I thought I had this nailed as a nuclear explosion or a mushroom cloud, right? Isn't that what we thought? But then you hear this same thing coming from those, by the way, archaeologists. Every year they dig deeper and deeper, and they're just not getting to some of this stuff. And when they find this stuff, they're like, no way, this is just too close. And when you find...
And so, they're finding stuff of the destroyer. As of sand turning to glass from the heat. If you look up glass, how do they make glass? Through sand in extreme heat. So they've got proof of it passing 3 times in layers too, because they found layers of glass. So, and they seen it and they wrote it on the wall, and they weren't even Christian, and they told them to find God, because this is what happens when you don't. C, coronavirus is minor. C minor. That means B is the destroyer and A is Jesus, and A is what we're trying. We're going backwards here. A is the absolute reason why all this is happening, and that's Jesus Christ. So to get your eyes off of this coronavirus and back onto Jesus, You need to get your eyes on that Bible, is what Mike is saying, and what the Bible's saying, and what God is saying, and what Jesus is saying. And you need to not take it off there every day, twice a day, and you will never wither, and you will always prosper. But if you're not doing that, you'll see the evil fruits start coming out, because you're not filling yourself, you're not eating it and taking it, digesting it. So by hearing it and reading it, you're full digesting it. It's stuck with you, yet you may not remember one time that you need to use that's full, you've came to the full sense of. It'll come to you. That's what happened to me in front of 5 people. It came to me, and the Lord said, test him. Show him that you were right. And he allowed me to be right, which is crazy, in front of like 6 witnesses that were all going against me. Every single person in the house said, nope, that's not how it goes. And I said, oh, I've got to study it. And they all went outside. And I came out with the answer right in front of them, and Google even told them. So deep inside, they do truly trust me, because all this has come from Jesus through me. But other people are starting to claim hold of the work that you do. And the Bible talks about that will happen. That they'll try to claim that they're the ones saving, that they're the ones helping them, and you're not having anything to do with it. It's all me doing it. Wow. That's not the reasons you do it. I do it. I do it because I want to try to help save people, not for competition. This isn't about competition. This isn't about who knows more, who knows less. This is about teaching our brothers and sisters what's coming, because the Lord said, if you don't teach people, if you see a sword coming and you're not teaching the people what that sword is coming, it's coming for you. The blood is required on your hands. So you've dug a hole into hell. See, these are little tricks that people need to learn to stay out of hell, and that's why the Lord teaches through me. That's it. It's not my teaching. 38.
Okay, dokie, we are back. Somebody, good evening, everybody out there. Good evening, good evening.
My phone does.
Okay, dokie, we are back. Somebody do me a favor, because I don't have opera. Somebody out there, the beast from going into Israel with that army. Remember in the book of Daniel, it says, it's rolled together, not rolled apart, but
when this thing comes in, it rolls everything apart, man. That means everything you're going to see, the demons and everything.
Different writings from different civilizations that said the exact same thing, the exact same description. When it came, it looked like the whole sky rolled up together.
86 witnesses to this object, not including God, Mike, and all the pictures, the hundreds of pictures I had of it. Wow. You can talk 186.
Coming from those, by the way, archaeologists, every year they dig deeper and deeper, and they're just not getting to some of this stuff. And when they find this stuff, they're like, no way, this is just too close. And when you find out that also, that the sky was full of boulders coming down to earth, boulders burning up everything and just smashing everything else. And then you have those burning ice rocks they also described. It makes the scriptures in Revelation, it takes them out of the realm of some metaphor. And you start to form a picture. We're about to endure some type of long durational celestial event that, by the way, has happened 4 times before. So it happened 4 times, which means it keeps coming back. And when you start looking at these ancient writings and you find out, wait a minute, this thing is almost like our seasons, like summer, fall and winter, spring, same type of timing. The same type of, which means at an appointed time, this thing is going to return because it was here before. And then those writings that they're digging up and they're describing this, you find out that those people kicked themselves because they didn't listen to the ones who came far before them, who warned them about it. And that every time it comes, all civilizations are lost. When you start to realize that, yes, we have 4 seasons on Earth, but there are other seasons that the Earth endures that are so long in their cycles.
That's the destroyer. So more proof.
And it really is like,
Wow.
it really is comparable to a person who's born in spring and dies in the middle of summer. They would know nothing about the deep snows. You could tell them till you're blue in the face, it's going to snow. They would say, what is that? I've never seen that before. What is snow? That's not even a thing. It's never snowed because all they know is spring and summer.
41.
Maybe.
Okay, I just stopped this one. This even shows you stuff raining down on the earth, by the way. What it's going to be doing. Boulders, you just heard them. See those arrows coming down to the earth? And I do believe one of the arrows is a snake. They're snake heads. That's what they are. They're demons. Who's the snake? Satan. Snake heads coming down to the earth. Demons. The destroyer. See how there's a big person and small people? That's a fully grown adult. So is that with the weird shaped head. That's a Nephilim. That's a fallen angel's child. So this is a regular human, same shape, head. This is half demon, half human, hybrid. You want to look it up? Want me to show you these in real life? Because I have. They found many of them. Some skulls are the size of human beings. Okay? Those are giants. And you know what is showing this person is of Satan? Oh, wow, this just came to me. See the snake coming from her? And these are snakes. They're alike. They're all of the same kind, is what that's actually proving. She has a snake embedded in her, just like the snake coming down, showing you twins. And this one is different. She's offering something up to the gods. She's offering something up to the gods because she is a true person of God. We have these people still here today. They're just smaller versions. Oprah Winfrey has 6 toes, like the Bible explains. Go and look for yourself. So you can research all you want, but the research is here. Why would you do that? Of my destroyer. I've had, this is my 5th conversation in the last couple months about it, okay? And now I'm giving proof by camera and them and by someone talking at the same time the same thing. And by me talking at the same time the same thing. God showed me in my dreams when this thing comes, my house was the only one here. So I don't know how many are going to get saved. Looked like to me that I was the only one spared in my whole entire area, which blows my mind. So I've been studying this, by the way, proof of taking my first picture, 6, 7 years. And this is even showing me more. So going on, yeah, for surely 7, maybe and a half years of lots of study. You know why? Because coronavirus is bitty, itsy bitsy, tiny, small, little fly like creature to this thing that's tossing down all of its demons. And I do believe it looked like she's actually being taken over by two of them. Or is she being guarded? Because she's offering something. The other one's offering something up to the gods. Well, the one's praising them. So that's what that looks to me. It's like it's telling you the person, because I seen she had a thing over her head and the snakes weren't actually hitting her. Okay. But the snakes were already in the other one. Oh wow. Just like, oh, I'm gonna show you a picture, and these on the wall, these people were real. Okay. These are, and they found horned skulls, horned people, faces like beasts. Those are real. Those aren't masks they're wearing. Now they're going to tell you they were wearing masks. Okay. Of course. But those were the people. They were of different people. They look different. There's even one that looks like an owl. They talk about the one angel that has face like a eagle. It was a face of a beast, a man, and all that. But the destroyer's in here as well. One of the passings. There it is. Cut the horns off of the evil. It came to take that away. All that away. That came to take all that away. And then the bug that doesn't die ate the scarlets. That's why when they opened up the tomb, these things came out. And it started a new era and got rid of all of those people. They have different faces, by the way, meaning they weren't children of God. And then a whole other race came after. See? Oh, here's another passing of it. You want it all day? In between God's eyes, by the way, those eyes are coming from heaven, and in the middle of it is what God's controlling, the destroyer. In the movie Gods of Egypt will show you at the end that God's pulling this thing, is in control of it. It also has a snake wrapped around it. The wings, the dragon. Get it? All meaning the same thing. And the thing sitting underneath it is not a human with a mask. That's the God that they worship. And God's got tears coming from his eyes because that person is worshiping something that's going to come and kill them. The destroyer. And God's crying. This is actually quite the significant over the people that he loses, over them, over their souls, even the evil. See the tears? And they are tears, by the way. And there's with the fake cross. You see how long? That's an evil cross, by the way. That's diverting. A cross is a cross. You don't put a circle on top. That's a hole to suck the Christians in that believe in actually the Romans. This is way before. That's a cross with a hole in it, sucking in the people of God, and God's crying. And there's the dragon, the destroyer, that he believes is a god coming back. Wow. That's that's insane, man. How see, I get the interpretations just by looking. I can read these. So I can tell you what these are saying. You know how many years it took them to learn how to tell you what it's saying? I can't even believe that. That's a miracle in its own. I'm just not going to go on for it because the Lord said no pride, right? So I started getting, you see? And the Lord basins you. This is what the Lord's interpreting through me just by looking and showing you guys. I never actually did this before. I actually really looked at them and interpreted what they were saying. And it's simple. God's eyes are in heaven looking down at you all the time. God's crying because this evil dude sitting under his god, the dragon, with his fake cross with the hole in it, sucked people into that hole, by the way. That's what that is, a diversion of the cross. It's not the cross. The cross is a tree straight across. Straight across. That's not straight across. That's idol of a different god with something of a different god holding it. With God crying, and he's on the earth in a plate. The earth is stable. I'll show you that in the Bible. Mike doesn't say that. I said it says established. Established means spiritually. Stable means physically. It cannot move. If it's stable, if an object is stable, can it move? Answer that yourself, your question. And that's another rabbit hole if you want to go down. And that one will lead you to God too. I can give you rabbit holes that will lead you right to God. The destroyer is not a rabbit hole, it's God's vessel, and he moves it around, and you can't stop it. And it defies all the laws of space, the destroyer, all the laws. See, and man called it the kill shot in some, and the Mona Lisa has some of those old artists way back, those ones that are worth millions of dollars, drew it in there. And when they drew, and some even drew a spaceship in there, a craft that looked like a UFO, but was actually these crafts that got the angels and the beings fly in, that speaks of in Ezekiel 6. So, wow. And here's that fake cross again. And here's God crying again. Okay? In a different picture with the demon under the same sun. And here's a fake cross again. Long time ago. See, it goes all the way back to the start. Oh, wow. There's so much pictures of the destroyer with God crying because he brought it with snakes. This one again with a demon and his gods and God crying in the corner. There's those snakes. There's him, the one that the evil that lives on the that's going to come from the destroyer. It's going to be dispersed. Therefore, hence Planet X, as we call it, has a tail of millions of miles long. It's not Planet X. And those aren't debris, those are demons. So anybody teaching that Planet X in Nibiru, they're on the right track, but they don't have this that I'm giving you today. With you. Oh my God. And that's Ra. I do believe that's Ra. He is a god. He's half god, half human. There's the destroyer. His god, which is also part of the dragon, right? So the destroyer above his head. That picture there also is them stabbing God's eye, by the way, which has happened on this earth. They stabbed God's eye by the people. The people don't believe in God. So many times does this object show up over this same demon. It's not a mask. Well, they'll say that it is, but it ain't. It's not an actual human, okay? It's part human and part not. And here's sun face disc, and that's their sun god, right? That's not the god that we worship. And that's that second sun, okay? The destroyer. Ra. R-A, Ra. I'd said that. I knew that. Ra. Sun god. There's the whole. You're gonna admit there's actually showing, because I do believe the sun is where God's light comes out of. Okay, it's actually not a planet, and the Bible even says that. And there's that fake cross. We're to go into the Son of God, but Ra is taking people through that hole, the eye of a needle. The camel going through the eye of a needle. Holy smokes, I didn't even remember that. So it's easier for a camel to go through an eye of a needle than a rich man to go to heaven. Okay. So there's the eye of the needle sucking in God's children right there. Ra, Satan. Ra is a child of Satan, right? So doing Satan's work, they were put here to do that. These pictures, and here's another one showing. Wow, this is crazy. They're offering up to the gods, every one of them. And the two big ones are being taken, and the small one is being left, which would be the human if it was that case. See, they're all offering something up to what? Their gods. So they believe the destroyer is part of their god system, their gods coming back, which it is, but that's not their gods. That's demons all in there. God has them trapped on a planet like thing called the destroyer, and he's going to use them. They're going to be implemented. They've been implemented throughout our entire lives. And when this thing comes through the veil, it's going to crack it. It's going to throw all of it up, down on us, demons, to come take people's souls, as well as what comes up on the earth. I'm just looking if they show anything coming up on the earth on any of these with it as well, because that would be, oh. And now I'm going to test something out, because this has that over top of it. There are birds in there. Other gods are flying up to the fake cross, and oh wow, he's holding on to the fake cross, because that he believes that I don't know. That's crazy though. I don't know fully of this one here. I can't read the stuff, but I can tell you that the dragon over his head, every one, a snake is the dragon, worshiping the dragon, and the other one is holding on, saying they were sleeping with humans. That eagle head demon, not demon, half god, half, well, Raphael, that was his wife. To go to tell you that they were mixing our flesh and our DNA is corrupted, and no one, no one alive can stand in front of God or Jesus, is what the Bible says, in this flesh. So, because our flesh has been compromised, okay, and that's hence this verse. Our spirit wars against our flesh. What does that tell you? Our spirit doesn't like what our flesh does. We're going to heaven. It hates it, and we're defeating it. And we will, because we believe, and we're doing the work to do that. Now we're getting out of teaching this stuff that is it's screwing them, it's messing the world up. But wait till these other things come. Oh, you know, it says don't wish on the day of the Lord. So you got to be careful with that because it's a very frightful and bad day for everyone. We're going to be going, if we're still here when he shows up, through some crazy stuff. But if you make it that long, here it is again, man. I got this picture over and over and over and over. And holding the hand of man, and shows many faces with it, meaning that they've changed the man from actually what they truly are. That's the many faces. We are to have one face. I could depict this by looking at it. One face is in here. Our real face is in here. We don't have many other personalities. This person, for sleeping with the giant and their gods, had many personalities, probably took on the form of them because they do. We are all one, like minded. They are all whacked, which proves it. I can see them in many of Satan's workers here, even in the church, even in some people. One of the closest persons I know, I can see, and they won't. And I won't be going and saying that anytime soon. And they don't watch my show, so because they believe in fake narratives and getting shots. Okay, I don't talk about that, name the person or nothing. That's so many of them out there. And God has one of them for me to see, a Christian, to see a fake Christian in front of me, to try to help her because she is really seeking inside. So that's what I see. That's the mercy, right? But I can't. God's like, this person's not listening. And I don't know. I know why. And I'm not going to even say that reason. Okay. I'll still poke. Always will. Uh, there it is, showing that it's not actually a mask that this person's wearing, or else you would see the mask lines. This is how, what you get when you mix gods with people, a hybrid Nephilim. It's not a mask, doesn't show that it's a mask, it shows that that's the person. Wow, I could just go on and on. We got to get this mic going here. But wow, here is what the two sons, the picture I got. And many people, I've seen this many times when there's two sons. And one is of animals, that's their god, because they did things with animals, okay? To make hybrids with animals as well, dinosaurs. They did things with animals, and that created the dinosaur. People don't have no idea about dinosaurs. These are the devil's animals, created by half human, half serpent, having sex with animals. Talks about that in the Bible. And sorry, wow, I don't like talking about it. Wow, this stuff, man, I'm telling you, I could sit here all day with pictures and depict them all day to you. Here's the balancing scales in the Bible. The destroy this person's obviously is not of God, is born of Cain, born of the serpent. All of them are, except for one, and that one might even be a hybrid. And there's balancing scales, and one has darkness and one has light. This one's the light, that's light shining through it, and this one's the darkness. Is telling you there's a balancing scale, and these guys' balancing scale has more darkness than light. It's a because it's a little higher. The darkness one's higher. So it's showing you that those are of evil. They have more darkness than light. But they believe in having some light in them because they believe in a balancing scale as well. So that because they do love their children. You see that? So they do have some love in them. They love their children. They really, really do, because they went to Enoch asking him, please don't petition to God for us. And God said no. That's the point where Satan just went ballistic. Okay, and there's a God's eye. One of theirs will be one. It's also the face of one of the creatures showing, because they love the creature more than the creator. They're animals more than the creator. That's for another God, all seeing eye. That's been around for a long time. It's also an animal, a demon, with a tear because they know what they've done, with blood because all the blood is on them. That's crazy. And that just happened. I just did that all in one. I never seen that picture before. I can totally depict some of them. Oh, totally. Wow. The all seeing eye. The one on America's dollar bill, showing that that's their God still. Crazy. Wow. The all seeing eye, God crying, also being stabbed in the eye because they turned their back on him. They looked away. But there's also part of a tear in there. I don't know if that's a knife or a tear, to tell you the truth. So, but wow. Other gods, them praising other gods, animals, they're praising animals, kings. There's a crown in there, kings, animals, other gods, right? And there's even a cross in there. I do believe that's telling them to worship our God. There's a real cross in that one. And that's just the sun with the rays, I do believe, but not quite sure. There's a real cross in that one. Before Jesus was born. Way before Jesus was born, there's a cross. Telling you the Son of Man is coming, you should worship your God. That just came to me. And not other kings and animals. Okay? Wow. The bowl of judgment. I don't know. I only get so much from that, right? There's so many pictures of it. It's unreal, guys. There's so much proof to back it up. The destroyer up, right? The Eye of Horus is what that's called, eh? And I just remembered that from teaching. I heard about it a long time ago, and now it just came to me. That's the Eye of Horus, all-seeing eye, still here today, proving that nothing new under the sun. The one, sometimes they're praising the sun, but the ones that have snake coming, that's the second son, the destroyer. And they think the destroyer is good, but they're a little nervous of it There it is with wings. The same wings that I show you in pictures. It has them too. See that? It's a round object with wings. In my picture, round object with wings. And it's coming down on their head. You get it? It's coming down. That's what makes the wings because it's moving. I have pictures of that thing at the top there with wings on it. Proof of it on this picture. So this I'm giving to one of the messengers. There's the evil cross with the hole that takes away their salvation. That hole is sucking them in instead of them putting themselves on the cross. They're being eaten into the dragon's system through that hole. It's really easy to understand. The cross is straight, cross, up and down, and a cross. Not with no, that's a fake cross. If I had seen one of those in my house, I'd have destroyed it. That hole is sucking in people's soul. Like that's going to show you in the end. There's going to be those two doors, just like the movie. Even Beetlegeist talks about that. Shows that a picture of what happens when you die, and they're all sitting, and there's a purgatory waiting to see someone. And who's behind that door? God. They didn't show anybody who was behind that in Beetlejuice. I can depict movies like you wouldn't believe. Why do you think God has me watching them? I'm sitting there going, "Whoa, this is this. This is out of the Bible. This is out of the Bible. This is out of the Bible." My wife's going, "Oh, can I watch the movie?" She should be going, "That's interesting," and listening to it. But no, she's got to fight against why I'm watching the movie in the first place. I don't watch movies for me. I don't watch them for me. I watch them to see what's going on. So it all lines up with the Bible. But there it show God's showing me their belief and watch Egypts of God because at the end you can't kill God. Cain, it said Cain killed God. That's what they can believe they can do. But it's impossible and Satan even knows it. But he wants to try and he wants people to fall. So that fake cross is the Catholic and all these uh fake religions. That's the fake cross for all of them. Okay. They just don't use it. But that means religion, fake religion. That cross, I believe, means straight up fake religions because it's got a hole, leads you away from the cross, the true cross. The true cross is a cross. And that's all I have to say about that. Okay. So people want to give teachings now and move on from this coronavirus. You'll know they're of God if they move on from it. If they keep stuck in this coronavirus and not keep leading people more to God, then they're actually not coming to the full power of God. It talks about that full truth. They come to the full, they believe in God, but they never come to the full truth of it because they're not seeking the full truth. You need to seek what's beyond everything. If there's COVID, there's something that's causing that. There's something worse going on. Just everything, these bad things that are happening, there's something worse behind that. Or better if you're Christian. If you're not, you're going to be taken by demons. Movies show all the time, sucking souls out of human. I watched. I was watching one, The Sleep. It was done by Stephen King. The Sleep, something. Sleepers. These are the ones that are going to wake up from the dead. Okay. So, all you good teachers that you know everything, and I love you guys, and there's some that watch my show. You don't. Okay. And this is a study for you. Now you can take this further through your Bible. It's called the iron furnace, the furnace of iron, the destroyer. And read about it yourself in the Bible and start teaching, well, this is coming. Then you're gonna the people are gonna even be going, whoa, COVID's nothing compared to what's coming. Nothing. It's an itsy bitsy little spider. Stomp. I ain't gonna get it because I'm not a partaker of her plagues. People don't get that. Find Jesus. And then you don't be scared. But the ones that don't get it are going to be alienated. And I see it all over. My family have been telling me, some in BC, they can't, their old friends aren't even hanging out. No, you're alienated. So I believe that's part of the beast. It's separating, it's making people that choose that start going against the other. Now, there's ones that are taking it that aren't going against the other. So I give them kudos, right? That they're not going. They're not doing it for that. They don't understand the whole reasons behind it. So we got to keep going with this mic here. It's a longer show today. I got to keep, man. I got to keep pounding this out. These people just ain't listening. They just keep stuck. They're stuck. You're at a wall with something and you've got it figured out. So now what are you going to talk about? Are you going to keep repeating coronavirus? This is, they're doing this, they're doing this, they're doing this, when something way worse is going on? And you could start going, hey, listen, now we've got that. And these other teachers that listen to me, Jill, are the ones that could be out teaching this instead of sticking in the coronavirus. They can help me with this and bringing more people to God by stick this one at them now. You got something new. Now teach them that. You got the pictures on here. Go look at my destroyers. You got people saying it's coming. You got pictures of it. You got more than enough proof, okay? If you need any more proof than that, then you're never going to see the full truth. Never mind the coronavirus behind what's even worse than that. Way worse. Coronavirus is like uh semi-knot. You know those little tiny flies? No-see-ums, they call them, semi-knots. All right? That's tiny. Coronavirus is nothing. And a lot of those aren't even coronavirus, okay? There are other plagues that God sent on the earth. I've been given that information to give it out. Okay? Now, if people don't start waking up and following the truth of Jesus, they're going to get plagued, I believe, because they're not following. If you're stumped on a stump and you stay at that stump, then you're never going to get over that hump of the stump. And you're going to go thump. Okay? You have to learn to get, once you've got to the end of the rabbit hole, it's time to move on with the real rabbit hole now. And it's time to start jumping into that hole. And that's Jesus Christ. And start obeying him and start giving up these things and showing you are of God, not just talking of it. That's what I did. I threw my marijuana stick away. Again, like I told you guys, I fail sometimes, right? And yeah, it's no more of nothing of just, I just know it. When you get weak and you're not getting stronger, you're only going to get weaker. The way to get stronger is with that Bible and with teaching the other people what else is coming, not just COVID. You're not teaching the people of what's really coming. It's coming for you, by the way, and that's in the Bible. Okay, so let's keep going. I hope it doesn't.
They don't know winter. They don't know what it is. So if they were born, or if they lived, if man had a lifespan of a season and a half, they wouldn't know anything about the other seasons. And if anybody came and talked to a person whose lifespan would end in the summer and told them about snow, they would call him a liar and everything else. Here's the sad part. The timing would be all the way off. those people who live for that season and a half would swear up and down nothing else exists outside of spring and summer. But then after another generation, here it comes. And because they didn't prepare them properly.
You stupid phone. I could kill my phone. I really could when it does that. I really hate doing that. Okay, so we've never seen the destroyer. So how are we going to explain it unless God give it to us? I've got 3 dreams of that thing. Okay, guys? Like, even seen it in a reflection of a rock that's not supposed to give a reflection. That's God showing it's there. It's coming. No matter what. I've seen it. I've seen the balls of evil fall down on the ground. And I was being hidden in that time. I was being covered. I had the heads of protection over me, and they were destroying the earth. These fallen angels. Excuse me. So I've got the whole full information, full teaching of you. I don't care if you don't believe me or not. I can explain that out of my dreams. I have many times before I even showed those pictures of it. Well, I've been showing those pictures that I have of it, but of the Egyptian pictures showing the exact same object as I'm showing. Shiva, the destroyer. Okay. And this stupid phone of mine, I could really kill it, man. Really kill it. Because what I'll do.
Okay, we are back. I believe MiG 17, 19, 21. Their surface smell China. Disturbing facts is this. That division starts by way of they're misinterpreting what the stars actually are. People trust foreknowledge. Do you know that? People don't want to hear what anybody has to say contrary to science because it ruins the tablets that are in the Grand Canyons. Why do they continue to hide those? Because they don't want you to find out. That would just mess up their story of Egypt only being in the Middle East. That would you would begin to see, wait a minute, they had global trade. That's how this stuff got all over the place. What about the maps they found in Ohio this year?
Everything's a lie. They've been all over the world many times, and God split it apart. America wasn't the first nation built in America.
So whoever drew those maps saw Antarctica from the air, as well as the other continents. Well, so goes this Pangea theory, that it was all one big land and they separated, and that's why they look like puzzle pieces. That's Bahubu. That supports this evolution thing they want people to so badly believe from a guy who hated the church. Darwin. I know where he is right now. I know where he is. He is burning up. And he has no water.
So here's another important thing. A lot of people believe in that. Start teaching against Darwin. Start teaching against... Sorry. Start teaching against Darwin and evolution. It's no way. What happened to evolution? Where's the monkey still evolving? Evolution, if there was evolution, there would always be evolution. Okay? Impossible. If we came from something out of space, something had to start that something.
You can't even do that now.
Nothing comes from nothing. And God came, was always here, was, and always will be.
The sun is 7 times brighter than what it was. And it truly is.
The sun is 7 times brighter. How long have I been saying this stuff, man? Than it usually is. Try to look at it.
Its thermal effects are different. That's not made up stuff, right?
So the angels are pouring our prayer out on the sun, just like the Bible says. So we're part of the reason this is happening.
No, man's just not doing it, right? I'm expecting a big earthquake, not by mathematics, equipment, or anything else. I'm expecting one by the something else in just a few days. A pretty sizable earthquake. I mean, a sizable one that could cause some problems in a couple of days. Well, I won't say a couple of days. I'll say within the scope of some days. I'm expecting a dormant volcano to wake up and do damage to some places that we love, right? That we like. All these things are happening, and they seemingly out out of the predictions of men for a reason. Why in the world? I give you an example. Why? I know a lot of people.
It talks about in the Bible not to be a wine bibber and a drinker and drunken.
I see the things I see.
Some people, we got to listen to that. We have to be sober. It says sober many times in the Bible. Many, many, many.
Can any of the elements in those dreams start happening? And it's not like they're so vague. They're pretty precise, aren't they? Precise elements are in those dreams. Like the Russia one, and the hangars, and the concrete, and the water right beside the concrete, that in the white tents lying down the little thing, right? Pretty precise. Then we watched it, those of you on COT, we watched it unfold. How can somebody's dreams be like that? Because I'll tell you something. Science can do all they want, but the Lord already told us they're going to get it wrong. The Lord already told us that they're misinterpreting what the stars actually are.
Nibiru, Planet X. No such thing.
Do you know that?
Gina, no such thing.
Hear what anybody has to say contrary to science, because it ruins their support system. They can't live with themselves. They feel like they have lost control somehow. To know something is to have control. I'm in the category of not knowing anything, so that I never have control. Because the moment I have control, that just simply means I become comfortable in my own paradigm. That's often when my paradigm rocks down to the core, just falls apart. But the Lord is different with revelation. He's very different. There are things that can be uttered, and you would be nothing but fascinated, but it would serve no purpose. Those are of the things I know, things I read, scripts, you could say they are, in the earth. There are things from the Lord that I could share too. You'd be like, wow, it actually happened, but then people go off doing the foolish thing. Ooh, is he a prophet? Because that happens every time something comes to pass. That's what they start writing. And that's a big no-no to do that. Which tells you what? What's to tell you? You can see how people are slipping, right? Now listen to me carefully. Imagine the Lord gave you the next several days in such detail that you wrote them down and published it and everything came true. What do you think people would do? And they know you're a Christian and you say you got it from the living God. What would people do? I'll tell you what they would do. They would worship you and forget about the living God. They would not give God glory. They would come to you and see what else you know. They would flood your email and your phone and everything else trying to get the scoop on something else. They're not thinking about the Father in these days. Mankind is concerned about being right. Mankind is concerned about proving the other wrong. And if you're not careful, if you operate by the flesh, those ways are in you too. If you don't believe me, just all you have to do is think about why you do what you do. What was that feeling you had that when you wanted to prove somebody else wrong? Why did you get angry when somebody stated something contrary to what you believe? You got angry because there's a spirit in mankind that's becoming stronger and stronger. And frankly, mankind is giving way to it because they're operating by it more and more. But the Lord called us away from that foolishness. He called us out of Babylon. You remember Sodom and Gomorrah? What did they try to do with the angels? They didn't pursue. They said, ooh, angels, let's go and defile them. That's the mindset of this world right now. They have no respect of the Father. But they will. But you see, Sodom and Gomorrah was not given the space to get it right. They were so full of iniquity, they were just simply destroyed. Do you know that same thing is going to happen again, which is why the Lord said, come out of her, my people. Be not partakers of her sins, that you don't partake of her plagues. Come out of her arguments. Come out of her way of life, way of thinking. That's how you come out of her. You don't embed your life in the sadistic things that they do, seducing one another for higher wages. What is that? People speak nice, but they're primarily concerned about their own pockets. How do I know this? Because if you take money away from a person, they'll tell you their whole life fell apart, even when they're a Christian. It tells you where their trust is. The Lord He'll have our trust revealed to us. We hold our trust in secret. I'm telling you now, it's going to be yelled out from the rooftops. We got to be careful in these times. However, the situational awareness and these big things that are about to befall us, they're always preceded by foreshadowing of events. Like the unexpected meeting. What do you think people are going to do? It'll be at night, likely around, I'll say around 10 p.m. Eastern time. When the news pops on, and they say, well, small meteorites are slamming into the earth, small ones. Nobody saw it. Burns up hundreds of thousands of acres, causes damage all over the place. Then it all goes away. The next morning, they start the analyzation process. NASA jumps to the podium. They start raising money so they can fund some weird stuff, right? The conversation changes. People start talking about doing weird things. You get rid of the, any potential big ones that can come. That will last for about 2 months, and then people are going to be dissatisfied with that again, and it goes all back to normal like cycles. It will happen. There'll be a momentary time where we have a meteor storm, a tiny one, small, but it will cause death and damage. And people will say, how did this happen? But then after about 4 weeks, they'll say, well, it's not so bad. The chances of that happening again are slim to none. Everything is going to be foreshadowed. Everything. And people go right back to normal.
So when I'm giving a warning, this shot is a foreshadow of the chip. Okay, it's a foreshadow.
That's the problem we face today.
That means it comes before the full number of the beast is implicated, which started from the time of the beginning. Because if you are of God, you were marked from the beginning.
Pretty sizable, spread out throughout the earth. But because there's no immediate damage and no large-scale death, no one cares. Though the earth is...
By the way, guys, some people are gonna might watch this. These people, the person sitting in the chat room there on the side is witnessing dreams and everything from God and seeing pretty much everything through the same eyes as me that's been given to me by God, proving that we're all working as one. Let's start working as one against, forget about COVID. There's COVID's a fly to what's coming. It's an itsy bitsy spider.
Because during certain alignments, if one planet shakes,
that little itsy bitsy COVID spider is going to get washed away. You know that song, Itsy Bitsy Spider went up the rider's bout. Down comes the destroyer and washes the spider out. Up come the floods and kill. Watch this.
In all those places in South America. Don't be too frightened when the cities fall again. The cities are not falling by timing. They're falling by way of iniquity. And they're about to fall again.
Yeah, there's so much evil on the earth, man. Just think of it, even if you didn't believe in God, Mother Nature feels that is going to destroy the earth to cleanse it of itself anyway. So what are you going to do? Follow Satan and be cleansed with it? Or take the chance to follow the good and go to a place? And you will. God will lead you there if you're his child. You're going to start going down the right rabbit holes. That's what this whole thing is about. This whole teaching is. Yes, I can teach you guys these rabbit holes. I've showed people these pictures and they've denied them. You can go back on my YouTube videos called The Destroyer, me and Mike, and listen to it. And I'll be showing pictures through them. I did this one. I've studied it long enough, okay? I know I've had the dreams. I know that they're not reflections and anomalies on my camera. My camera is quite good. When I take a picture away from the sun, the anomaly is not there. So that can't be true. Reflections, the proof of it not being a reflection is right in front of your eyes on this show alone.
Great trying that comes upon the earth.
I've been trying to point this out to people. Hey, you don't know what it is if you've never seen it, so they're going to make up excuses thinking it's something else. But listen, there's a reason why something's done. Everything's done. COVID was done for a reason. They're all going down these back roads to destroy the world. Oh, the new world order. Yes, that's right on the cusp. Actually, that's already China already is. Many of these Eastern countries already are, and Australia said we're gonna do it. We're gonna do these tests because we're in the new world order. They've already claimed it. That's nothing. The destroyer and Jesus. Oh, those are the worst days ever. Worse than ever been.
You feel that in the least way, he's highly compassionate towards it. You know what that means? All throughout your life, he's been highly compassionate toward you, and you've gone through some things. Don't be frightened of the term great tribulation. Stop being frightened of that term, because your whole life has been great tribulation. All the saints, that number that nobody can number, it told you where they came from. They came out of great tribulation. You know, you can almost translate that phrase into saying this: they endured in the earth. They finished their race, and here they are. This is great tribulation. That was made clear by the prophet.
Like I've been saying, we live in great tribulation. Another prophecy that was given to me by the Lord. Was it not, Mark? I have proof of this. Just like the job I found, don't I, Mark? I told you like 20 times when I didn't even have it that the Lord told me to tell you. Anybody else want to ask Brandy Motts or any of my family members when they sat there and they told me, all of them told me that broccoli doesn't give you heartburn, and God told me to show them it did. And I did. The proof is in front of everybody. And I don't look, I'm no better than you. Listen, I'm just here to teach people. If you're not listening to me, you're not listening to the words of the Lord. You will be destroyed for not, because he's going to come for you after, because he always sends a messenger first. People, you got to understand that. There's a messenger in your group. There should only be one. And there should be one underneath him. And it can be a female. But she can't be teaching in the pastoral. Now, I don't know, maybe with the pastor beside him, I may give him that a little bit. I don't know. With the pastor to correct if they're making wrong. But anyways.
To the drug trade, and they grow up and become old. Then they're kicked out on the street. They have no family.
Hey, Mark, put a witness to all the stuff, the prophecies. Man, there's like 15 of them, at least 15 I got. I don't know. I don't count them. Listen, they're not given to me to keep. They're given to me to give out, so I don't remember every single one. And they keep coming up in these teachings. There's another prophecy I said. Just went by.
There are people every single day that die because they're Christians. You may ask, how so? It doesn't have to be a world war for that to happen. Let me give you an example. You believe in Christ, right? You have strong conviction. Suppose one day you say, I can no longer go with what this corporation or what this organization or what this government is doing. And you tell them, I can't do that. Well, why not? Because my Lord and Savior forbids me from doing that. And they laugh in your face. But you stand your ground. And they say, well, I'll tell you what. Either you go face legal problems, or you stop the charade and you stand your grounds.
And I'm also giving away a Bible to anybody that watches this. And you test it out yourself. If you haven't read it, you don't know nothing about it. I've read it twice and listened to it 30 times. Not saying I know everything about it, okay? I don't. You read it over and over again, and you're going to go through it, and you're going to see things come alive in your life. You're going to see a change in your life. This book is alive. Okay, so I'm going to finish off here. I'm going to start some laundry, and I might jump back on, man. Okay, so, and I'm going to start off with Mark. People are being put to death for their faith right now. So, there's another hour of this coming. I have to do some research to send to Jill in the Bible. I got to send her the ones with the iron furnace, the furnace of iron, and the destroyer. I got to send her those scriptures that back it up, by the way. And I need to send it on my next one video to you guys, and you could read it. It's right in the Bible. So some people say, well, people just guess that stuff. No, you don't guess something 4,000, 3,000 years ahead. Come on. Doesn't work that way. That comes from supernatural, not guesses. Guesses are guesstimates, and they never work out. And the scientists will tell you that too. So this was an awesome show with one person in here, and thank God to you. You were a witness to almost everything I said, weren't you? The one person that's in this room. If you've listened to my channel, you can see people calling me and telling me how come everything's happening that you said. It's not because I'm thinking it up. It's come from supernatural. I speak with what the word of the Lord gives me to give to you. I don't speak what I speak, and people got to understand that. You're not a teacher. You're not ordained to teach about Jesus. That's why you're teaching about these rabbit holes. Well, what are you going to do now that you've gone down all the rabbit holes and you know there's a Jesus? You got to start following him the proper way. That's what I'm trying to show everybody. And sometimes I'm not perfect either. But we have to give things up, sacrifice things for the Lord. And that's the thing, the evil things that we do of the world. Come out of her so you're not a partaker of her plagues. That means we got to stop sinning. We got to start putting our mind on God before times runs out on you. And you go, oh, I wish I would have listened to him. I wish I would have put my mind more on God. I'm sorry, God. And not even going to be able to say that because they're going to know where they're going to go instantly because they'll be changed. Okay, so get this video out and share it with the folks and start talking about something different than COVID because there's a lot more worse coming. And that's the whole point of this show. Way worse coming. You guys are crying about the spilt milk. You hadn't even seen the fire yet, not even. And yet there's been tons of fires all year round. So we've seen mountains on fire. That's nothing. You're going to see if you're still here, 3/4 of the whole earth on fire and burnt and turned upside down because God's going to remove every mountain and he's going to put this earth as one again, back together again, because his children are going to live here. Mexico forever, a better than Mexico forever. Can you imagine that? Like, you can't even imagine. Mexico is like tiny compared to what heaven is. So the true object is to get people change on Jesus now. You have to grow. COVID, we understand enough. We know about it enough that we can move forward with our learning. And if you haven't read the Bible and you don't understand how it works, give it a shot, and God's going to start showing you how it works, and you're going to start seeing it every day, and you're going to start seeing what he has done for you. If you've had heart attack problems and something got fixed in you, the Lord made that person and gave them the ability to did that to you. So the Lord had work in your life. You just got to look back of all the things that are amazing. I know a guy that had a plane ticket. He, there's no way he thought he could ever get his passport was ripped. No way you could ever think you would have got that passport in that time. And he thanked Jesus for that. And it almost made me jump off the seat. Now, if you keep doing that, and then he had heart problems and that's fixed now, Jesus, he doesn't even realize it that God's leaving him alive so that he can find him to go home. Great. He's being called now by the Lord through other people. And even the ones that they're all going down that rabbit hole. So they all need to, right? Everybody needs to go down these rabbit holes. Then when they listen to someone that's speaking of the word of God, a true Christian, not one of these fake ones that say they are and telling people things that and yelling and screaming and fighting and and causing issues still. I don't know. You'll see the fruit that comes from the tree is the way that the Bible explains it. Good. So good stuff. Good stuff comes from me, not evil. Okay. So if you're producing evil and doing evil things, then you're either caught in it or you're of it. You are it. Okay. So God bless you guys. And I'll be on and I got to put my laundry in. Probably it won't be long. We have an hour left of this mic to go. This is more than one teaching. I just realized the Lord's this is more than one teaching. This is huge. I got to pull up the scriptures uh, for the destroyer and show a couple more pictures of it and show some of these things at night, proving that the in the Bible it talks about the harvest. And it's not a harvest of fruit and crops. It's a harvest of souls. That's what's coming. That's huge. And no matter whether you like it or you think it's not coming, it's coming. And I've been showed that. Okay. In dreams. Can't make up your own dreams. I don't care what anybody says. Oh, you make up your own dreams. You might be thinking of something and God's showing you in that dream. And it's not you that made it up. God's just proving it to you in the dream because you might have been right. So the more evil dreams you got to start wondering what's going on. You shouldn't, when you're a man of God, you don't get many of them. So, and I'm not saying I don't get any, but I rarely get them now. And they're getting less and less and less. And if you see children that go through these, like I know some children that are close go through terrors at night terrors. That's Satan trying to grab them. That's a night terror. Terror. What causes terror? Evil, darkness. They sing about it all the time. They show it on movies. And people still don't get that there's darkness and light that we can't see. Okay. But once you start reading that Bible, you're not going to see it with this. You're going to see it in here. And that's what Jesus does. You're going to see the deliverance. I feel it. I actually burp it out. It's true, man. Like I'm back to skinny again. God's letting me eat because today I'm going back to fasting. When you fast, your mind's so much clearer because you're not having toxins in you, and you can fight your sin way easier with healthy foods. The foods even make us sin. God bless you guys. I'll be back on in an hour or half hour. No, maybe even less than half hour, not an hour. Way before then.